actual games, if nothing else. Like, where you've been, first of all, like, just because we've been talking about you being sort of like an outside changing force in some regard, but also the perception of Smash within the FGC, I've noticed, has changed quite a bit. Because there is this little bit of a pushback against, Melee being at Evo or like some of the Smash games. I know that you were attending a lot of those Evos. Hell, you casted the finals. I believe it was on Disney or something like that.
It was, yes.
Yeah,
it was Disney XD.
You have quite literally been on the Disney Channel, and here you are on YouTube. But you've had your share of interactions with the FGC as a whole, while Smash was kind of, like I said, the black sheep of the FGC. Some would say not even really part of the FGC at all, just kind of its own separate thing. I was wondering if you shared that view that it's not necessarily the FGC, just kind of this whole, like, weird cousin that doesn't really talk to them all that much. And B, if you've seen that perception shift over the years that you've been involved with events like, CEO or Combo Break or what have you.
Yeah, I definitely have seen a change of perception towards it, because I was there when I heard those conversations that Smash wasn't a fighting game. I always laughed. I've always seen Smash as a fighting game. But I guess from other people's outlook, Smash has always been a beautiful mistake. It was not intentionally supposed to be this competitive game that these other fighting games were designed for. Nowadays, you have a company, Riot, that purposely caters their games towards a competitive audience. It's very risky to do that for any other company. That's why no other company has been able to take that leap and purposely make games with the idea of esports in mind, because you're already catering to a niche audience. Not everybody wants to be competitive. Not everybody wants to be number one. Some people just want to enjoy their time off when they come back home from work and not be sweats. And I could totally appreciate that. Literally, some people just want to see pretty animations, and hopefully it works out for them if they continuously press buttons. Casting Smash at Evo and seeing that perception, though different, that it being different, was always something that never bothered me, because I knew what I was doing. I knew that my game was competitive. I knew the history of players that we had in the scene. I didn't really focus too much on the other stuff, because coming from somebody who also didn't really play 2D fighters growing up, my little sister surprisingly did. She was a beast in Mortal Kombat. Seeing that I was... I really should. It's a lot harder for me to figure out now, when I also have like this idea of neutral in a platformer. But I will also say what normalized the idea that Smash should be taken more serious is the fact that we have a lot more platform fighters that have been released within the last couple of years. So now seeing how certain devs go about supporting those games and what could be, yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Like, Smash was never created following some sort of infrastructure that is Smash. No, Smash came out because it was Smash, and it was not intended to be competitive. It ended up being competitive after actually isolating certain things, like no items on, no Smash meter, etc., like that. And then creating something that ended up being even better. Now you look at Melee, you look at the fact that you are able to cancel certain frames to help increase your movement, make the game look a lot faster. People love that stuff, and those happy accidents have actually seeped their way into other games. Whether it's been patched out in the future or not, Apex Legends, the OG Apex, used to have so much movement tech. You used to jump on zip lines infinitely. Then they made a patch where you could only jump off the zip line twice. You used to be able to melee jump boost, where if you touch the ground at the same frame that you melee, you cancel the animation of you staggering yourself when you jump from a high spot. So, like, little things like this could be influenced. And seeing that Smash was kind of like one of those games where they made the game competitive because of those happy little mistakes, I think is so cool, because it creates a skill ceiling. I'm a big advocate for, if there's an exploitation,